Okay, good afternoon and good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And my name is BBC. Welcome to Tekedia Live. To our members connecting from the board, welcome. We are actually streaming this specific one because it's more of a case study on how and what innovators are doing in market system. So over the next few days, and I would say few weeks, as we round up, we'll be bringing in companies essentially to show that all these mechanics of markets that we are talking about, that there are actually people that are going out in the market to actually showcase, build entities, and we can learn certain things they are doing. So one of the first companies we'll be bringing here is called Lafayette Telehealth. It's essentially a health tech company that has brought a fusion of digital technologies with the typical atom-based medical equipment at scale, thereby fixing the marginal cost paralysis that we have in the medical practice, where irrespective of your location, you can still get help through technology systems that they have engineered. The goal here is not to sell you anything, of course. The goal here is to see the vistas, what innovation is shaping the world of healthcare technology to become. So it's more of an inspiration for us to see where the world is going, and hopefully we can learn and then go back to our markets, go back to our companies, and go back to our economics, wherever we are, to begin to apply them. Another company will come as we start next week during our innovation week, where we're going to have from Monday to Saturday, looking at the whole case of innovation. But this is just the beginning of it. So today is the CEO of Lafayette Telehealth, Mr. John, and he's been a regular person here, especially in the satellite space. He's more of a geek, building stuff. So welcome, John, to Tekedia Live. And then I will say that's over to you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for having me today. Am I able to share my screen, Prof? Okay, I think I can share. Okay.
Yes, and just for you to know, we actually webcasting this on our social media platform. Okay. And just because we think that there is no intellectual property that you will be sharing here. So just for you to know that we are sharing it digitally.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. And my name is John. I'm the CEO of Lafayette Telehealth. And what we do is that we provide healthcare for everyone, everywhere, using technology, especially using artificial intelligence, Internet of medical things, and various tools to ensure that we're able to solve problems. And our main focus is that we're trying to solve the inaccessibility of the healthcare delivery, especially in Africa and beyond. We build our system engineering with a focus with Africa in mind, but however, it's being used here in the US, and it's a global product as we speak. And so looking at the problem, we see that in Africa and the emerging market and globally, doctors or medical professionals tend to leave the people that will even need them most. So we look at how Uber is operating, and we think that this is an area that can be digitalized, such like we have the fintech that is blossoming today. In terms of data, if you look at from region, either eastern part of Asia and the Pacific, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, North Africa, and North America, South America, and Sub-Saharan Africa, we look at the different ratio that the number of doctors per population, let's say 10,000, is very, very low. If you look at Sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa, for instance, you will see that you will hardly see a group of 1,000 people to one doctor. So this is really a sector that need technological intervention. And we also see, if you look at it, even from country by country, if you look at the horizon, you will see that that problem is all around the world, especially in the nations of the world that are emerging. And so as a result, we came up with a solution which we call the secret sauce. The secret sauce of our solution, we innovate the way that telemedicine can be done beyond video conferencing. You know, today you see people, oh, I am doing telemedicine, but however, it's just like using Zoom, where people just see over the phone on the video conferencing or just talking to a doctor without a real statistical data to give proper analysis of what is happening to the patient. And so we came up with a system that integrates the doctors, the patients, the medical professional that fulfill the whole channel in terms of suppliers, maybe the pharmacy, the medical laboratory, and the hospitals. We aggregate everyone together using mobile applications, web applications, and also connecting medical equipment together. We develop an API and an SDK, that is software development kit, where you can bring any existing device into the cluster framework of our own particular design, and also with new equipment as well. And this, of course, you may know that online doctor is a popular thing now. So this is really, really helping. And for the doctor today, we have been able to bring more than 4,000, almost 4,000 doctors to digitalize their processes. And this is helping them to scale digital services, practicing in a convenience arena, at the same time being able to help them, especially during the COVID, also reducing the waiting time in the room and scaling technology. And the telehealth, like you can see today, it is really, really affordable, providing 24/7 access where people can get healthcare anywhere. And then also constant monitoring. In fact, we look at it that from statistics, a lot of chronic disease like diabetes or cancers and all those things, with the help of telehealth, that can be detected on time and could lead to solving the problem. And not only that, for us, we look at Internet of Things very, very key, because we do telemedicine just beyond video. And so we integrate various equipment, medical equipment, like the thermometer for temperature, the blood pressure cuff for measuring blood, and different type of thing. And lately, we are now deploying what we call AI doctor. That means we just looking at the camera, we use what we call a sender medical photograph image from your phone or our kiosk, where we can also sync to your body. We can intercept the reflection that is working with your movement of your blood cells to actually give some vital. And as we talk to you, these have been FDA approved over here in the US as well. And like I said, I used to mention hypertension and various things as we go. So in terms of a quick look up at where we are today, so far we have more than 600 doctors. Actually, this is not latest data, almost 500 now. We have 4,000 plus actually a patient now integrated to about 10 hospitals. And then for pharmacy, more than 1,500 pharmacy have been integrated, so that a doctor, say in the US, sees somebody in Benue, in a village in Benue State back in Nigeria. There is a pharmacy that is integrated to us, closer to that village, that can do that fulfillment. And so it's sort like that. The same thing also, we have HMO that are integrated. And our doctors come from more than 46 country plus. In terms of generating revenue, we look at the teleconsultation field. And so as the doctor is making money for any teleconsultation, we also get commission. We also have equipment that we sell, so that so that the process can be seen as if it's physical. And that is what we call beyond video consultation. And then, of course, where since we make the pharmacy to sell more, and we make the lab for referral to see more patients, we also get a kind of a royalty fee from them. Then the platform is actually live on the Play Store, on the Apple Store, and also on the web as well. We look at our telemedicine as an operating system, and in fact, it is a cloud hospital that we have built. We use, like I said, artificial intelligence for a proper insight and data, and connected with various forms of medical equipment that can do great things, as you will see shortly. At the moment, like I mentioned, we have AI doctor. This means we are using it's a software as a service contactless awareness and vital signs monitoring that can tell you various measurements using what we call strong AI technology. That means the prediction is very, very accurate when you compare it with this. And what we use, how does that work particularly? We look at your transdermal optical imaging, which is the TOI, to make sure that when you use a phone, the camera today can be fine-tuned to really begin to, as you are looking at taking a kind of a selfie type, it is landing to detect the facial, has a facial detection that is helped to look at, to monitor the flow of your blood as that camera is passing by. And then we use that to detect a lot of things, like you can see. And this is working in sync with our cloud-based strong artificial intelligence engine. And this is used to extract the facial blood flow using a conventional video camera. And so the point that we are going in Lafayette Telehealth is that very soon we don't even need to carry a lot of medical equipment just by sitting in front of our kiosk or sitting in using the mobile phone that is using our app, or the provider that are working with us where we give them API. You should be able to look at your blood pressure, your temperature, the stroke risks, the different type of things that can be measured. And so we apply a kind of signal processing technique to improve the sound to noise ratio and extract this feature. And this is actually phenomenal in this industry. In fact, it helps to predict the physiological state of human race. And then if you dip a little more, we do have API that is connected to our strong artificial intelligence engine that helps to process all the flow. It works on any some latest laptop that have a good camera. It works on smartphones, on tablets, and then above all, it also works on our kiosk. Okay, it also works on our kiosk, and like you can see here, the blood flow data is sent directly to the Lafiya cloud base on the strong AI, and is processed within a minimum of 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and from there it will tell you in real time your blood pressure rate, the heart rate, the heart rate visibility, and all that. That is your regular heartbeat, if there are, and then your respiratory rate, mental stress. In fact, the body index, before you start up the interface, you might have inserted your height, your years, and with that, the system can also predict your body mass index as well. And then, of course, the cardiovascular workload in terms of the human health, and even your emotional stress and the risks to strokes and all those things. If actually you are going to have stroke, maybe due to the system reading in the next 5 years, 7 years to come, in fact, the system will be able to predict it as well. And some of these measurement that you can see on the screen here, these are some of the measurements that are returned. After 30 seconds, the system is processed and it can return all that. In fact, from early next year, we'll also be doing blood biomarker, such as the hemoglobin, because we are actually intercepting the blood flow. And so we should be able to tell you the result, also your acid rate, the urea, and everything that is very key to really tell, to give the doctor who is the professional in the system to predict those things. And above all, especially type 2 diabetics patients, this can be very, very helpful. Hypertension and all those risk things are very important part. And of course, we have to drive it to become business. And we are looking at this since we are eliminating even devices for anybody. By using smartphone, it means that become your thermometer, that become your ECG, that become your, call it any medical thing that you use to read all those things. And therefore, paying $1 for that, that is fine. Or walking into a kiosk to sit there and get all these things. And again, get connection to the doctor. We are looking at, if you are even getting this, which we believe is cheaper, compare what others are doing. We're believing to make money on volume, and that is it. And some of the other medical, apart from the AI doctor for that I mentioned, we also have today some home kit. Like this is an equipment we integrated into our system that can be used to travel. You can just pair it with your smartphone or your tablet and our app, and you can read a lot of data. So telemedicine is not just video conferencing. The doctor in real time need to know or have the feel that is physically with the patient. I need to have data that will give a proper insight into the medical examination. And so that is what we do. Another, I call it a killer all-in-one ultrasound scanner proof. This is ultrasound scanner proof that we came up with and have also integrated to smartphones. Imagine with your phone, it can be turned to ultrasound. With your laptop, you have ultrasound. And it's also a small piece that uses our system to also use as well. And not only that, this is fascinating. For the first and the world first, we do have a complete blood count analyzer that does not use reagent, which is like a nightmare for most everybody, even here in America, that you have a blood count analyzers is either seated in the hospital, just very, very big. But now we have reduced it with the help of other partners and with the help of our software system that we came up with a very small blood test analyzer that within 10 minutes, you have almost 19 parameters, sophisticated flagging with capacity that can do up to 5 in-depth type of sample variables for whatever you want to get from the blood. And I was privileged to be at the conference. They just concluded Global Medical Mission Health Conference in Kentucky, here in the US. And it was fascinating when we use it live to do a lot of tests that it was wonderful and it's amazing. And the good thing for this, which is key part of our cluster of services that everyone will want to have, is that especially in rural healthcare, where this is very, very important to detect a lot of things, this is key. You don't even need a reagent to use it. And the doctor can be anywhere. As you are doing the testing there with the patient, the doctor in real time can also have insight into the data. We also have integrated mobile health exam stations, like a backpack. You can put it in the back and travel with, and it can do a lot of medical tests as well. And then another one, we have the indoor kiosk, where it can be used as a medical resource provider for hospitals or clinics that don't have access to physical doctor or are not able to pay for various specialists. And mind you, in our platform, we have a pool of network of certified and licensed doctors from across the globe. It means with this type, your hospital or clinic that have been built or rural or anything, or even a room can be transformed to become a hospital instantly. And those are this type of thing. Then another word first from us is the Lafiya healthcare kiosk. This is mind-blowing, really. It has different medical equipment, fully solar powered, and so that it can run off grid. If you see it here, we're already deploying here, even in America, and then also working with finance company in the world, such as Starlink and Viasat and the various things, also to provide broadband internet via the satellite. And back in Africa also, we have the license to power it using what we call the TVY space, that is radio signal to broadcast internet even from the city to the rural area to power this type of thing. And it comes with various equipment and the camera. You just need to sit in front, look at the camera, and the camera will tell you anything. And if you want to continue to also, the system advises you to even connect to a doctor, can even tell you which doctor is best, the reference data that the system has collected. This is engineered for remote area, engineered for area that maybe there may not be power today, internet is an issue, and this is plug and play type of system, and you can see us there. So it's a great thing. And the use case are various places, can be used for outpatient clinic, in office, in clinic, in hospital, sports centers, and even in the street or in the air platform, in the police station, even in the airport, in the prison, for instance. Of course, in the rural area, the rural clinic, this can be deployed. And why this is key that I want you guys to really listen to is that this can also become a business. You mustn't be a healthcare provider or even use this for a business. For instance, somebody can deploy this in a village, and right now, sitting here, if you deploy it in a community, while people are walking in to see a doctor, whoever is sitting to mount the kiosk, like in supporting, could even have a POS where the thing becomes, it means the place become an agent bank center as well. Even the Wi-Fi here, people that comes around can even use the Wi-Fi and pay for as well. So it's an investment hub. It's a business hub that we have actually built that can be used in various places. And in terms of testimonial, we have a lot of download right now on the app, on the this thing. The opportunity is great. In fact, if you look at mobile users in Africa, it's more than 450 million. This is just one part. And then the people that don't have mobile that can walk into the kiosk or the who have access to use any of the thing. Presently, we support 6 languages: Spanish, English, Swahili, Arabic, and then of course we are working now to support shortly, like in the Igbo, the Hausa, and the Yoruba, and more languages to be supported as well. How do we make money then? We actually, as of today, make money from consultation. It's around 30%, depends anyway. Then for transaction fee for from the pharmacy and from the lab. And then also we do have an API. So for instance, if you have a hospital, you want teleconsultation or you want to deploy telemedicine, we can actually give you API to consume the resources that we have. Maybe the pool of doctors, maybe using our equipment. Of course, we make money from the licensing and support and things that you see. In terms of the business modeling we are running as of today, the focus, of course, it started from Nigeria, but we are more than that now, then Africa and the emerging market. We get our doctor from anywhere. And I want to say something here because this is key. This is a highly regulated industry. And so, however, what we do is that these doctors that we get, some doctors can practice in certain places that we cannot practice. But like Nigeria, where they are not hindered for now, we really verify them and make sure they are licensed, they are not impersonating, they are real doctor with current license, and they have expertise in the area they have declared to us. We use artificial intelligence type of compliance tool to detect which doctor is fake, which one is right. And then we also use what we call a geofencing system and an IP related to cycle around. For instance, I'm in the US, where doctors from outside are not allowed to practice in the US. So if you log in into a platform from the US, you are only going to access only US doctors. You will not be allowed to see doctors from Nigeria or from other parts of the world that are on the platform. And so it is country specific, and it's a rating. And the moment we are partnering with pharmacy, with laboratory, and different entities, even the religious body, to make sure that this is key. Our competitive advantage is that it is a fully integrated healthcare ecosystem with various components attached, and not that it is another Zoom or another Skype or another WhatsApp platform. No, we go beyond the video to give people real-time value for what they necessarily need to see. Just a little group of our team. You can see there we have Edinburgh helping Nigeria for sales. We have Abraham also there. And then we have Justin, the young man that work with us here for North America. We also have people in the team, doctors, these are our doctors that support us. And of course, you have Prof here who is always advising what best we can do, and other people in the scene. And then thank you very much. If you do have questions, I am here to take it. Thank you, Prof, for the privilege. Thank you.
So thank you so much, and for that excursion into the future of medical practice. And I think the most exciting thing there is trying to make doctors to become good business people. I recall, one of the things you realize is that doctors have only 24 hours in a day. So it's the only type of job you have where if your customers are increasing, you cannot really increase your supply. In other words, if there are 10,000 people waiting in front of the hospital, you cannot just suddenly manufacture care for them. So, but with what Lafiya has here, there is actually an opportunity to extrapolate those few hours doctors have so that they can deliver their scientific miracles to more people, more families. So now we open it up to questions. Just like I noted, this is not a marketing thing. This is more of to tell our members about the possibilities of the future, looking at how innovators are changing the ordinance of market systems by looking at different sectors. We have been doing that over the last few weeks in this program, bringing up innovators in agriculture, bringing innovators in healthcare, bringing innovators in insurance, just to make sure that we have where the pulse of the world is going. So let's begin with Mr. Adebayo. Your question, please. Unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John. Nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
And a good insight into what technology can bring to help the rural area and stuff like that. I've chatted with you before on BIP tool.
Okay.
And if you remember, I'm actually interested in that BIP tool linkages to some of these things. What I'm looking at for BIP.
It's like we lost him.
Yeah.
It's like we lost Mr. Adebayo. Maybe you type it. Okay, let's go to, maybe we'll just give him a second. Are you still there, Mr. Adebayo, please? It's like we just lost him. Network. So that's why he needs BIP to John, so that we don't experience this kind of thing.
Yes,
So,
he needs to have BIP too, yeah.
Yeah. So Ifalua, go ahead, please. Ifalua.
Good evening, Dr. John. I don't know if I can use that word. Thank you.
He's an engineer.
I'm an engineer, not a doctor. Prof, by the way, they are calling me doctor. I became a doctor by fire now,
No. You have not been God. You have to go to medical school. Okay, Ifalua, go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Like Mr. John said, it opens our eyes to the capability of technology and how it can help solve a problem. My question is in the part of how do we get access to this as, let's say for my household now, I want to have access for this to be able to measure, like my dad recently went for something happened today. He needs to have an access to do some scan. And it took him for over 4 hours. And this man is 70 years old. So I'm thinking for an household like me, how do I have access to this? Is this software readily available that I can download and subscribe and use my phone to do all this, like you said, scan and get some little information? That's number one. Number two, I also observed that the aspect of weight is not really there. So I don't know, it doesn't mean that the camera also captures the aspect of being able to know somebody's weight and the impact of that, or only that facial scan can solve that. So I think those are the two basic questions I want to ask. How do we partner? How do I get, if I want to use for my household, and the aspect of weight? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that question. Of course, we are live and available. You can go to if you have an Android phone, you can get it on the Play Store, Lafayette Telehealth app, or on the Apple Store is there, or you go to www.lafiatelehealth.com. It is actually there. Then you mentioned like your dad. What I will advise is we have a small device which we call the home kit, and you can pair that with your phone, and you just a moment. Okay, let me quickly go there. Here you can pair it with your phone, and then in fact I can take a temperature. It also have the stethoscope. If the doctor connect, the doctor can actually listen to how the lung or the heart is behaving in real time. Then those are the things you can do. Then in terms of the AI doctor, at the moment, to be released officially for commercial use, the AI part where you need to use only camera, stay on the camera and take a selfie, that will be released before the end of the year. Actually, in 2 weeks from now, it will be live on all our existing system. But in general, yes, Lafiya is there. Then the scanner also can, since you are getting if you are getting the indoor, we can also allow the scanner. This is the scanner that you can pair with the smartphone, like you mentioned too, if they need to use the scanner. Then when you talk about this in the BMI, is actually when I talk about BMI, body mass index, that's actually part of weight. In fact, if you look at our integrated system, it's actually part of all this. We have it, and via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, the system pick it up. You just need to stand on it. I don't have anyone here with me now. It's just in the other room. If not, I can show you on the camera. We do have that. You just need to stay on it, stand on it, and then it is taken. But in terms of the camera one, of course, you need to put the system, you need to, that physical one, or you need to have a way to be able to put
I think
that up.
Yeah, I think, John, if only you can check out the team. They are in Lekki, Lagos, and actually locally there are guys that can help explain what you need and as you need those things. So let's go to Mr. Adebayo, please. Are you back? If you are not back, we can go to Daniel. Daniel, please go ahead and mute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Prof. And good evening, faculty. This is a very, very great innovation and an eye-opening innovation for that matter. Well, what I want to ask about is on the aspect of the doctors that are being onboarded on the platform. I want to know, is it like they are just joining the system to do a kind of voluntary service, or is there anything they stand to gain by joining the system?
You mean the doctors, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you look at the platform, sorry again, I like Attica so much. Let's quickly bring it up. If you go to our platform, the doctors join. We don't charge them to join. Some doctors charge for it. Like now, I only see US doctor. Like this doctors is charging for free. Sorry, this is for demo. This doctor is charging $10. It's based in North Carolina. and even some up to 100, some 20, even some up to 120 that they are charging. So, of course, they charge, but these are US doctors that I have picked. I'm not seeing all of them. But if you log in from Nigeria or for Africa, depending on what the government has approved, from the country that you can see, you will see their pricing in your local currency or whatever that they can see. Of course, the doctor charge, and some of them offer voluntary services as well. I hope that helps your answer.
Yeah, I think that does. So let's go to Yakubu, please. Yakubu.
Yeah, good evening, Prof, and good evening, Mr. John, for that amazing presentation. Yeah, my question is, one, Prof, I think this is going to be like a challenge to you especially, since we can have, AI on the issue of this medical field. I think it's better if, we can have a kind of another team that can do the same, something similar to that of like agriculture, for example, because now, for example, in Nigeria, we're moving away from these oil and gas and the like. So I think we should have similar thing for agriculture. Just a suggestion, Prof. So please, you can take note of that and maybe come up with a team. I know you're very busy, Prof. Yeah. And now my question is, now with these Lafiya online now, how do they get doctors that can attend to people? Then if they get them, how do they train those doctors to be able to use this software? Because now, the entire world is moving to AI, artificial intelligence now. How do you train doctors to suit that standard? I know you're based on each country has their own professionals, but how do you train doctors to be able to use this software? For example, now, most of the doctors in Nigeria, they are not used to most of this software because we don't have those things readily made compared to those in America, in UK. So now how do you train your doctors? Like now we have brilliant students from, the graduated surgeons in Nigeria. But now most of them, they don't have access to this software. So how do you train them? It's going to incur more cost. So
yeah,
that's my question.
Yeah, just a quick one. We actually do bi-weekly webinar for doctors on our platform, showing them, train them from time to time how to use the software. And anybody that have ever make a Zoom call or WhatsApp call, video call, to be able to use the system actually. So we believe doctors are great and smart people. It's actually very easy to use any of the system. And this equipment I mentioned or the video, they are not for the doctor to use. It's just to get real data in real time from the body of the patient who is remote to them wherever they are to analyze and say, okay, for this one, you need to go get paracetamol and you will be fine, or things like that. And so those are the thing that the equipment or the camera for the contactless vital monitoring and wellness that we'll be doing. I hope that helps. Thank you.
Then, sorry, one more question. What about does it have any side effects, these things, like the radiation or anything? You didn't mention any side effects. Is it 100% perfect, those instruments you use or anything? It has to come through radiation and, exposing your body to, is it cancerous or anything, any medical side effects?
Okay.
I think, John, John, go ahead. Yeah,
so what I want to tell you is that all this equipment are FDA approved. In fact, some are NAFDAC also approved as we talk to you. And then I can tell you, just like using thermometer at home. So when you talk of, it's not an abstract equipment. These are equipment that have been approved by regulators in the country that we are selling it. And the AI part of it, as I tell you also, it has been FDA approved. You see, in fact, it's even safer than using the physical equipment because that has direct contact with your body. But this gives a kind of a limit in terms of distance before it even gets to your body. So it's similar, the same thing, because all of them use a kind of a microchip camera within them that interact and take sensor or what we call telemetry information from your body.
Yeah, and also one other thing to understand here, Yakubu, is that this is really like having a medical device in the hospital. It's just like going to hospital. The only thing that is different here is that they are using teleconnectivity systems to improve the marginal cost of doctor serving patients. So instead of somebody having to travel to your village to take care of somebody that is sick, that person can stay in Abuja or Lagos or Owerri and still connect to that particular patient in the village, thereby making it possible that the doctor can serve many people over a period of time. That's dedicated time. So it's the same equipment. It's just that they have added IP address so that that data can now be transmitted electronically through the web. That's the only difference.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So John, from the from the board, we have a question here. Is asking, do you have a plan to have a centralized system for schools? Maybe for schools, it is not explained. Maybe like university, secondary school.
Okay.
Are you working on something like that?
Yeah, at present, I know our team back in Lagos is talking to a lot of schools. We have also do presentation with various universities that in their sick bay, they want to have our kiosk deployed. And so that rather than somebody is sick and maybe only the school nurse attending to them or one of the doctor attached to the school, which of course may not have all the expertise, have access to this 24/7. I know that in one of the university in one of the states, we are almost concluding to deploy the system for all the system. I mean, all the students where they have the kiosk in the school at the same time, access to the mobile phone and pay a certain amount per term or per semester, as the case may be. And so we are doing that. And then also we do have, we partner with MasterCard that we are working, of course, we have student, we have like card, and that card, you have money on it for any type of billing you need to do for your medical care. It cannot be used to buy chewing gum or anything, but for anything medical care, it will be used for. So a closed card that can be used for that payment. Sure.
So basically a medical, a MasterCard issue card that can only be used to pay for medical services.
Correct. It
Okay.
will be used for medical services here. And then
Okay.
I think on the chart, Prof, if you allow, somebody's
Go ahead,
asking
please.
what is the cost, include running cost of installing the equipment. It depends on which of the equipment. So, and then of course, depends on the use case as well, because in some use case, you may not require the comprehensive detail of the equipment. So that is dependent on your use case. So you may want to reach out to us on the email. I think I put our email there, and then we can tell you everything that we cost. But you need to understand that the equipment is there. You need to pay for sustaining the internet data, which is of course monthly. If you want, you can get that directly from us, which will be okay for you. Or if you have internet already, we can also use it. So you need to check all those dependents, then it will affect the cost.
Yeah, so members, the key thing here is not necessarily the business. I want us to understand the business model. I mean, looking for price, you can always ask the company. It's more of how are they using some of the frameworks that we have looked at in Tekedia Media MBA. We look at the framework of aggregation. And we noted that in aggregation, more than 80% of companies in the technology space, the largest companies in the world, 80% of them have an element of aggregation. So you could see that Lafiya uses aggregation. It is aggregating these doctors into a network. That means that you can see how it is applying one of the most potent technology business models of the 21st century. Apple has aggregation in the business model. Google has aggregation. Microsoft has aggregation. All these companies, they are deep. So the question is beyond healthcare. If you are building in the real estate sector, if you are building in the insurance sector, if you are building in the how can you also replicate some of these business models? Because they have been validated that if you are running a digital online business, aggregation is also going to make you better. That's the purpose we have to pick up from here, not necessarily what is the cost of the device. Those things are great, but I want us to focus on translating application of business models into a practical software company, into a practical hardware company, into a practical startup. So let's go to Franklin, please. Franklin, go ahead. You have to unmute yourself, Franklin, if you're there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, Prof.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, faculty. I'm so happy about tonight's session. I want to ask a question. The company I work in, we are suppliers of medical equipment.
Okay.
So I want to know where exactly can we feature in the whole of this, and is there any process or any system in place for suppliers of equipment to feature, and are there incentives, for suppliers? How best can we work with you?
Okay, thank you very much, Franklin. Yes, we do have partnership with medical device suppliers that work. Sorry about that. That work with us and then get commission as in terms of what is being distributed through them. Of course, you can reach us on our email and we can take that. But yes, we have few of them that are already working with us, and few are in line talking with us also, so that they can deploy. They have the market, they are already deploying it. We are actually not taking the market away from them. We are creating more market for you to push in. And such equipment that you are selling, what we are doing is that we are making sure that the doctors can have real time, without being physical with the patient, can still get same data remotely wherever they are to provide a better care. So for sure, you can email us and then our team can sign the normal sales agreement or whatever with you, and there you go. I know we have some company talking with us from various places, even in Nigeria, that are already dealing with. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Maji. Maji, please go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good evening, Prof.
Good
Thank you very much. And thank you, faculty, for this. I think it's really impressive, and I'm really impressed with what I've seen. So my question really is around, so medical history. Will I be able to build this over time such that when I come, when I need to be treated for something at subsequent time, somebody is aware of maybe something that I've done in the past? That's one question. Then I have a risk management background, so I'm always thinking around that. So what are the considerations around data privacy, and data regulations across countries? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We are using what we call, in terms, I will start from the last question, which has to do with your data privacy. We are Hipaa Compliance, by the way, GDPR compliance. And of course, based on the country laws, we have those design in place. And in terms of architect, by the way, I'm a certified solution architect. I designed most of the system myself, so I know that to talk about that very well. In terms of the system architect, is a multi-tenant type of system. So for instance, if you are a hospital and you are using our platform, your data are private to you alone. And so it is highly secure. We're also using multi-cloud environment. We're using, say, Google, AWS, and Microsoft Azure. The same time, so it's not even in one cloud that you think, okay, they are in this cloud, let me get used to this cloud. And in terms of orchestration, we're using Kubernetes engine, and so which makes it very, very secure. So the platform is actually hidden under the layer of the operating system kernel that is running in the cloud. So we built that in place. However, of course, data in terms of protection could be human error, and that is why from time to time, we talk to our practitioners, the doctors, we talk to even patients to keep their data, not sharing their information with anybody. And of course, you can protect your app or your login with two-factor authentication, so that people don't get access to that at any time. And then another thing in terms of the other one you mentioned again, we also have a basic EHR, that is electronic health record, that if you log in, of course, if you see a doctor today and come after 3 months, you will see the history of the SOAP, that is the SOAP notes, the notes the doctor have taken and everything you discuss. And the HIPAA rule and GDPR encourage that we also keep history of that, even the voice, except both the patient wants it deleted, then of course it's deleted and it's encrypted end to end. We encrypt it. And we use a kind of military grade encryption. So it's actually encrypted end to end. And so far I can tell you we are legitimate certified, a third organization that review all those. If not, I can tell you the US government will not allow it to be used here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. I think that's the most important element there, is that it's actually approved in the United States. So that means that many good things have been taken care of. So let's go to Abel. We just have about 10 more minutes to round up. Abel, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, faculty. Good evening, Prof. Yeah, so I was just trying to, assess the business model you shared and found it really fascinating. Like, if I may ask, like, what were the biggest challenge that you had to deal with when you were starting out? To implement some this business model. I think it will be very fine to share with us.
I think we're having a. Okay, go ahead. Like the
background
noise.
Eba, thank you very much. To be sincere with you, it is challenging. But what is a new thing, right? Especially now that we're even telling somebody you sit on the camera, just watch the camera, we can look at your hemoglobin or the glucose level. And then, so it makes people that feel it's a little bit tough to understand. And that is why it's strong AI, which will do exactly almost like human thought, right? So what keeps us going, me especially and the team, is that if we look at the penetration of financial technology today, if 20 years ago or even 15 years ago, if you tell anybody that to send 1,000 over the mobile phone, you are just deceiving yourself in Africa. It's not going to happen. But today it's like, that is everything. So that digitalization phase, we see that it's making it to happen. Look at Uber, for instance. It's really succeeding. You never imagine that somebody you don't know, you just book the app and expect the person to pick you, you will be safe. Yes, we look at all those things, but however, we believe as time evolves, it will be steady. So the next phase of digitalization to us is in the healthcare. In fact, in the conference, when I was talking with them just last week, I predicted that there should be a lot of things in the, like where we see financial sector today, that is how healthcare is also going to go. But of course, government policies are key, and that is why you need to build that business model to adapt to any changes that may actually come. So your infrastructures and architecture need to be flexible, not allowing anything, maybe a change in anything in one country affect anything. So, and for us, we build it in modular form, distributed, so that it can fit into those scenarios. I hope that helps.
Really helps. Thanks, sir. I think I got this. Yes. Okay. Prof, want to say something, sir?
No. What I was just trying to say here, of course, just because this is more of an academic setting, but if you go deeper into what is happening here, they have actually a kind of a fintech that will also power ability for people that don't have money to get healthcare. That fintech will give them loan so that if you want to go to a hospital, you don't have money to pay. That fintech will offer credit. That fintech will make resources available. And they, just like the BIP2 that Mr. Debay also has, they also have a satellite-based system to bring that connectivity. So even if you put it in a remote part of Abia State or remote part of Mali, where there is no network connectivity, to still work. So, but building that end-to-end system, they can now extract value across different chains in that process. I do believe vividly that this is part of the infrastructure that people are talking about when it comes to healthcare service. It's not necessarily going to build a physical building, because you may not really need to build a physical building in the future of hospital systems and healthcare services, except for extremely terrible things like cancer. But in
Got
these
it.
ones that are manageable, people can just get into these kind of solutions, stay in their homes and their cell phones, and they have a hospital in their pocket.
Yeah. Prof, thank you very much. I saw two tests on the chart. I think there are questions. One is
Please
saying,
go ahead and answer them. Go ahead, please. Just go ahead and answer them.
They can also the kit test for malaria and HIV and possible detect COVID-19 patient. Yeah, the truth is that if you have access, we are not the professionals. We are not doctors. We provide data available for doctors to draw those conclusions, especially for due to regulations and everything. And so for malaria, from the result that are provided, of course, it doesn't take doctor 5 minutes to say when you have malaria fever from the blood, complete blood count or whatever. And the HIV, of course, may need in-depth something, which again, the doctor can advise. And then on the AI one, we could actually predict all the symptoms and give you a percentage ratio and tell you, you need to see a doctor fast, but we will not, on purpose, we cannot tell you you have COVID-19 because we don't want somebody to watch us over the camera or look at the system and you give heart attack to that person. So it's something that a physical doctor whom you are connected with, either on the video, to look at the review and say, based on this, advise you medically, not us making that decision and telling people that. Then the other question is how can one get access to the API? The API documentation is available on our website. Go to www.lafiyattelehealth.com and you go to the page, developers page. We see the various API that are available. We don't publish the API itself, but the documentation and the capability of what the API can do, and probably the cost of the API that will be attached for subsequent, it's also there. And then when you talk to us, we can now release it. On purpose, we didn't make it completely available just on the go here, but we will come to that later on as we proceed. Thank you.
Yeah, in other words, he is still trying to keep things because as an innovator, he wants to have the first mover advantage. The first mover advantage means he wants to host certain things to separate him from others. So that's also what we need to learn as we begin to enter into new territories and markets and create opportunities for ourselves. So I think that should be the last, unless if you have more questions in the chats, and otherwise, I think we could be rounding it up. So thank you so much, John, for the mission of this company to make sure that healthcare services are largely available to many more people by improving the marginal cost of serving many people across the globe. So I just want you to give us your last word so that we round up for the evening. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Prof, and thank you everyone for joining us and hearing the Lafiya stories today. What we need to understand is that digitalization is unstoppable. So as business people and who are being a privilege to join Tekedia Institute from time to time, you need to understand that digitalization can be applied to almost every day of our life. And that is why what we call strong AI, most of the AI you hear of now, they are all weak AI. But in the next phase of AI, which we have started, like we just showed you, which is strong AI, a lot of things will be digitalized and more fascinating. So you just need to take advantage. And I can tell you, for those of us from Africa and also in Africa, we sit in the, what would I call it now, in the garden of prosperity. Because this is a place that is far behind in terms of digitalization. For fintech, we are doing very well now, but in other areas, we are lacking behind seriously. And I want to tell you that you need to continue to push and look at the problem, see how you can transfer them. In fact, the richest people that the world is going to be producing are the people that will solve problems and stand in the middle to make life easy for everybody. Somebody mentioned of agriculture and different. So look at those areas, look at various areas and see how we can innovate and commercialize those ideas. And again, I will advise you collaborate, work with people. You can always come for collaboration to Lafiya and any of our startups. We are ready to work with you to work together. Or if you look at somebody doing something, be innovative. And I can tell you what Prof is giving today and the Institute in general is a good one. It's a real life thing. These are not stories. Prof, we are so close, not short,
Okay.
and die from
Thank
time
you.
to time. So I want to really encourage all of you to even bring
Thank
more
you.
people so that we use technology to solve African problem, you know. And
Thank
maybe
you.
one day we also solve the poverty problem in Africa. Thank you so much, Prof. And
Thank you. Thank
everybody
you.
for having me this evening.
Thank you so much. And gentlemen and ladies, that ends our section. Have a wonderful evening and have a great afternoon anywhere you are. We connect again on Thursday when we'll be looking at how to raise capital. One of the newest, I will call it, a recipient of a very big fund in Lagos will be joining us, and he's going to teach us so many things. He worked in PwC before he started his company. So we'll learn a lot from him. Thank you and good evening and good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Prof.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, faculty. Thank you, Prof. Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, faculty.
Thank you.
Thank
Faculty,
you.
thank you. God bless you guys. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. And thank you, faculty.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.